The Force Awakens did decent enough in my opinion, so I decided I would record episode 8, The Last Jedi. For those of you who don't know, or just clicking this video for the first time, I am redoing the entire Disney Trilogy from episode 7, 8, and 9, obviously, and just using episode 7 and hearing this story ain't going to make that much sense, because these are completely different characters, completely different everything, except for what the characters look like, basically, and their names. So, let's continue with episode 8, The Last Jedi. Leia has taken her new Padawan, Rey, to the far planet of Ahch-To, home of the first Jedi Temple, to train her in the ways of the Force. Rey gets shot by a training ball, then again and again. She tears off her helmet and cuts the ball in half with her saber. "You weren't trying," said Leia, as she holds a porg on her lap, sitting behind Rey on a rock. "This is stupid. We're wasting time here training, when we should be out there taking down the First Order." "Rey, you can't just pick up a lightsaber and wave your hand around and instantly become a Jedi," replies Leia as she puts the porg down onto a rock she had been sitting on. "It takes years of training and hard work to become one. Finn has been training his entire life, and not even he's a knight yet. Give it time." "We don't have time," Rey replies as she tosses her saber to Leia and walks past her. Rey goes running along the island, and you see her struggling to float rocks, then does acrobats, and then floats a few rocks. Leia watches over Rey, and then leaves her alone. "Solo?" asks a female voice from behind Leia. "Master Tano," replies Leia as she turns and looks at an elderly Ahsoka. "I thought that after your son you'd never train another apprentice." The two watch Rey, and she walks up to a porg who had been hurt, and she takes it into her arms and holds it. This one's different. She may not be a strong fighter, and Rey holds her hand over the small porg and heals his broken wing. The Force is strong with her. Lando, Finn, 3PO, and a bunch of other soldiers all stand around in what looks like an abandoned brick building, which has water leaking from the roof. Finn's lightsaber lights up the dark room while it storms heavily outside. "This storm should pass in a few days," says Lando, as he holds a small computer device in his hand. The good news is the First Order troops have turned back to take cover from the storm as well. You hear BB-8's cries coming from outside the building, and then the droid comes in. "BB-8, oh, it's you," cries 3PO. "I thought you were lost." "BB, where's Poe?" asks Finn, as he walks over to the droid. "Right here," says Poe, as he drags a Sith trooper's body behind him. "I got separated, and this one jumped me from behind while I was trying to make it back here." And he releases the leg of the trooper. "Don't worry, I got him. I was going to take his uniform for protection, but when I removed his helmet, well, you just have to see it for yourselves." And Finn holds his lightsaber up to the trooper's head, and as Poe removes the red helmet, it reveals the face of a young Luke Skywalker. Darth Ren stands in the middle of a dark room, surrounded by adult humanoids draped in black. They all activate saber blockers, and Kylo begins to avoid their attacks. He does acrobats and blocks some of their attacks with his mechanical arm. Then he activates his red saber, and he begins to disarm all the cloaked people. "This batch is unworthy. If you're going to have me have a personal guard, they better be able to protect me, and not just be there for show!" Ren screams out. "Clones cannot be Force sensitive. Of course someone with your strength will be able to defeat any of these clones, as you already have proven," Maz speaks as she comes out from behind a glowing screen. "Darth Ren," says Hux over the communicator in Ren's helmet. "The weapon is ready." Ren leaves the building he is in and is instantly surrounded by Sith troopers as he walks towards a TIE fighter. Mustafar's lava rages around him as he exits Darth Vader's castle. As he walks, you hear Darth Vader's theme and a slight hint of his breathing. Ren takes his ship up to the fleet ship that is surrounding the planet. Hux appears in a hologram on Ren's dashboard. Set a course for the closest planet. We're going to show them the true power of the First Order. On a casino planet, people gamble and bet their money away. Horse races are seen, and a small boy walks out of one of the horse stables, and the boy comes out of it sweeping. The boy stumbles over a bale of hay and drops his broom. The boy stands up and dusts himself off. He then holds his hand over the broom, and it floats off the floor. Then the boy continues sweeping, and he is blown onto his back by a gust of wind, and the picture turns red. He turns around, and people on the planet begin to scream in fear. The boy closes his eyes, and the red light is shown to be an energy beam being blown from a First Order ship. They have a planet killer and a Star Destroyer. On the destroyer, Hux smiles at the destruction. It's beautiful. Sir, shouts a female officer as she looks up from her computer. Canto Bight has been completely destroyed. There are no survivors. Spread the word throughout the galaxy, says Hux. If any planet refuses to bow to the First Order, they will be wiped from existence with the power of our fully operational fleet of planet destroyers. Han, DJ, Wedge, and others are in trenches on a battlefield. They are losing, and an alien soldier comes running up. General Solo shouts the creature. Urgent message, and Han. His all will bow to the First Order speech is heard, and a hologram of Canto Bight is being shown, blowing up. Canto Bight, says DJ, as he is scarred and dirty. You know this planet? Asks Han. That was my home. Luke awakens from a Force dream where he's standing on Canto Bight, and he holds his hands up trying to stop the beam. No, he shouts, and as he wakes up, he rushes out of the Jedi Temple to the Senate. The politicians are now talking about surrender. A battle-damaged Millennium Falcon flies towards Coruscant out of control. Luke rushes to the landing bay. Han, Lando, and the rest are all on board. Han, what happened? Asks Luke as he eyes over the survivors. It's the First Order, kid. They've got most of the planets blocked with those ships of theirs. Master Skywalker, yells Finn. There's something we need to show you. They show Luke the clone, and then you see Luke explaining to the Senate what's going on. The Senate breaks out arguing, and the Chancellor, a purple-haired woman named Holdo, puts it to a vote. Trust Luke or bow to Snoke. The cowards vote unanimously to bow to Snoke. Poe, where are you going? Asks Finn as an X-Wing blasts off. He'll never get past the blockade, he continues. Running to fight another day isn't a bad choice, DJ says as he looks at Finn. The troops are tired, outnumbered, and outgunned. Luke watches the ships in the sky fall. People are trying to escape, but most are shot down. Few make it past the First Order. They have arrived at Coruscant. Kill Skywalker, says Snoke in Kylo's head. He takes a ship with Hux, Death Troopers, and Phasma. She's still alive. Her suit is burned and damaged. Luke stands at the entrance to the Senate, and Kylo's ship lands in front of him. Get the delegates, Kylo says as he looks over at Hux. He's mine. And he activates his red blade. Not even the great Vader could make this crystal bleed, says Kylo as he looks at Luke. The Death Troopers, Phasma, and Hux move past the motionless Luke. Luke activates his green saber and attacks Kylo. Inside the Senate, Holdo surrenders, but Phasma grabs her by her neck and holds her up. As she rises her body, it's revealed to be more like General Grievous now. No unnecessary prisoners. You control this planet. We have this planet. And she snaps Holdo's neck and drops her corpse to the ground. Find the others on your list. Kill the rest, says Hux, as the troops continue to march into the Senate. Han, Lando, DJ, Finn, and others are at the launch bay and are fighting off Sith troopers on the land and in the sky to help civilians get off the planet to safety. Rey has rocks floating around her as she floats in the air. She hears the sounds of gunfire and Finn screaming. She opens her eyes and falls onto the rocks, with the smaller rocks falling all around her. Master Solo, she yells. I know. We have to go. No, we can't. It's too late. We have to. They're my friends. Rey, do you remember what I told you what happened to Luke when he went to face Vader before his training was complete? He lost his hand and almost died, but I won't be alone. I've got you, Rey. If our visions come true and Luke and Finn fall, it will be up to us to face Snoke as the last Jedi. Our place is here, training you, getting ready for the end. I don't need your permission to go. I want it, but I don't need it. And she rushes off to her ship that brought them to the island. She gets on the ship and everything stops working. Then Ahsoka's ghost appears. Who are you? I was a Jedi Padawan just like you once. I didn't listen to my master and the galaxy paid for it. Who was your master? He went by many names, but you probably know him as Darth Vader. So, what does that have to do with me? If Anakin's son falls, his daughter will be the only person alive in the galaxy to defeat Darth Plagueis. And you need to be here for her, as I wasn't there for Anakin. Don't fail your master the way I failed mine. Why are you talking to me? This planet is a virgin in the Force, the most powerful light side place in the galaxy. That's why your connection is getting stronger so fast here. If you won't listen to Leia, I figured you would listen to someone who has lived beyond life, who has returned from the other world. Rey, you are more important than you realize. This is not your fight. Rey goes to start the ship again, and Ahsoka vanishes, and the ship works perfectly now. She goes to start the engine, but she can't push the button. Leia sits reading an old Jedi text. Master, Rey says, but Leia cuts her off. I know. And she walks over and grabs her blast shield helmet. She holds her hand over her lightsaber, which Leia is hung on her belt, and it flies to her hand. Rey walks out of the hut Leia was in and begins training. Thank you, Master, says Leia in her mind. Kylo and Luke fight, while the fighting with Han and Co. continue. Epic battles all around. And in the end, Luke lands his hit across Kylo's chest. Kylo falls to the ground and Snoke yells in his throne room. Admiral, random new guy from the Rise of Skywalker. Blast that planet. Sir, Lord Ren and the others have not returned. We don't have all the hostages yet. What did I order, sir? And his neck is snapped and he falls to the ground. A Palpatine clone walks up. As you command, Supreme Leader. And they start to warm up the gun. From the ground, Hux and Co. can see their weapons loading. What are they doing? We're still down here, and the battle is with us. And he tries to contact the ship, but the communications have been cut off. You see, Ben, that's what power like Snow gets you, Luke says as he points at the ship. He's so afraid of losing his power, he's going to sacrifice you to kill me. The Supreme Leader is wise. His will be done. I feel sorry for you. And as the blast starts, it doesn't even leave the cannon. It fires, but it doesn't leave. On the planet, Luke holds his hands up. He is stopping the blast of the Force. Han, Luke says through the Force, I can't hold it much longer. Take Finn and the others and get out of here. They can't fire while I hold it. Han listens, and a small group of soldiers who were still on the ground get off and onto a carrier. Lando, order your men to follow us. We're leaving. And Finn chimes in over the microphone from the ship. Master Luke. He's not coming, kid, replies Han. No, Finn leaves the battle to head for Luke. Luke continues to hold the blast from the ship, and the systems are starting to overload. Ben tries to stand, but he can't. Master, shouts Finn as he lands close by. The blast continues to get closer. Finn, what are you doing here? I came to get you. Get out of here, Finn. No, we can do this. Finn, if I let go, this planet is destroyed. And Luke stops and looks straight into Finn's eyes. And when I let go, I will become one with the Force. Finn looks sad at Luke. No, it's the only way to save Han, you, and all the people of this planet. And ships by the thousands begins to take off behind them. To save the Republic, go. Go to Leia. Go to Rey. And Finn touches Luke's shoulder and runs off to his fighter. Kylo activates his lightsaber as he has gotten back onto his feet while Luke was distracted. Smart, kid. Kill the only thing keeping you alive right now. And he looks at Ren. Hux, says Kylo over his speaker. What's happening? The Supreme Leader has ordered this planet destroyed, and deemed us sacrifices to the cause of removing the Skywalker from the galaxy. Ren looks at Luke, and then up at the sky, and then back at Luke, and he sees that Luke is helpless and unarmed. His lightsaber's on the ground next to him. If Luke lets go, the planet is gone. If he kills Luke, He himself will be gone. Get to the ship and come get me, says Kylo. Ren limps over to Luke and he grabs his saber off the ground and takes it. Huck's ship flies by and Kylo goes to board it. See you around, kid, Luke says as he looks over at Kylo and his ship blasts off. Han and the others fly off the planet. What's the heading? Asks Lando, who is at the controls. If they're using clones, says Finn as they fly next to the carrier, then we need to go where cloning in the galaxy is done. Camino, says Han as the ship blasts off. Luke smiles as he feels his friends getting away safely. Luke, says Obi-Wan's ghost. My son, says Anakin. Let go you must, Skywalker, says Yoda. These are your last steps, says Obi-Wan. Your real training is about to begin, says Anakin. Luke vanishes into the Force, and the beam blasts into the planet. But also the gunship overloads and explodes as well. On the destroyed Camino, Finn looks around the buildings. There doesn't seem to be anything left. He's alone on the planet talking to a holocube. Okay, kid, get your butt back to... And a noise is heard, and he turns the cube off. DJ had knocked some stuff over as he was looking. Finn? You hear Poe's voice over the cube. Poe? Finn, if you can hear me, I've got us some reinforcements. Come to my location. This message is for comlink FN2187, and the message continues to repeat. Finn and DJ fly off to his location. It's Geonosis. Poe walks out with BB-8 and he hugs Finn and they go into the factory. I went to Camino to see about getting us a clone army, but yeah, they're all dead, says Finn. Then I remember my history, continues Poe. The Clone Wars. Clones versus droids. The droids were built here, and he turns on a flashlight and reveals thousands of dusty old droids. Everything is here, and Finn looks at Poe. Don't butt me, Poe. The droid's base function is missing. Their source code. Every battle droid had one. And there hasn't been a working battle droid in years. R2 beeps. What's he say? Asks Poe. He says 3PO was a battle droid, says BB in Rose's voice. I was made for etiquette, not battle, says 3PO. Now Han, Lando, and the rest are on Geonosis. It was locked away, continues BB. When his memory was wiped, droids are just computers, nothing is ever erased. That memory would be in a restricted area. I can't access that. No droid could. Well, I may know a guy, says DJ. A ship lands outside. You can see the Falcon being worked on. It had been put into the carrier. A woman in a gold helmet walks up to meet DJ. You got a female body now? Just trying it out, replies the woman. She can access the droid's files? Asks Han. Bobo can hack any droid, says DJ, and the little Babu freak is inside the head. Hey, bring me the droid, he says. Then you see him working on 3PO, and the gold droid has been hooked up to the factory. Babu works, and sparks fly. Mistress Padme, says 3PO. Master Anakin. And then his eyes flash red. Die, Jedi dogs! And the factory begins to move. As the droids begin to come together, they step off the assembly line, and Leia and Rey walk in. Looks like we may have a fighting chance after all, she smiles as she hugs Han. Rey runs up to Finn and hugs him. I missed so much time, 3PO says. R2, why didn't you tell me? More droids walk off and join the legions being formed. Kylo, on a desert planet, talks to a man in a bar. You want to hire an army to kill the leader of the First Order? Asks the man as he looks at Kylo, Hux, and Phasma, and a group of Death Troopers. They were not clones, just bloodthirsty killers Kylo had freed from the galactic prisons. He activates his lightsaber. Now he has Anakin's and Luke's lightsabers attached back to back. He spins the new double-bladed weapon. We will be the final order, Kylo says. Hux tosses a sack of gold on the table. And 100 times more after we are done, says Kylo. The guild, says Greef Karga, is at your command, Lord. No, not Lord, says Ren. Kylo Ren. The end of episode 8. So, what'd you think of episode 8? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Yes, I killed Luke, but he just did what the other guys did. He went out like a blaze of glory instead of sitting on an island. He stopped the planet from being destroyed. He saved thousands, and his death actually meant something. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And do you want me to continue to do episode 9? Comment down below, or don't. You don't really have to. And have a good one.